So you guys, what up? We're back in here, back in the game, man. We're back in the game here for another meal talk. And I think there's only one place to start. And I think I just thought it was good that we rolled with Chelsea. New white screen and everything. I know you guys said that's what the angle was crap. So we're rolling it new, man. So there's so much stuff to talk about, but I wanna come at you.
Pause.
Okay. Because I know that you know the Bible well, as most Nigerians do. Do you remember Saul in the Bible? He's the only Saul that I recognize. Because there's another Saul who some call Saul, who I refuse to recognize. I remember when you tried to make a case, because we have the freaking tape, where I said, man, Saul, this guy's not been relevant since 2016. This transfer doesn't make any sense. And you were trying to make sense of it. Now, as time has passed, will you agree that this might rank as one of the worst signings in recent history from a top club?
For Chelsea or any top club?
Any top club.
Any top club. Wow. I mean, that's a big statement to say. I mean, look, at the time, I was optimistic about what this signing could bring, but ultimately I looked at it as a low-risk signing with potentially a high reward if he comes good. But again, what was the overall transfer fee? I think 5 million for the loan. So if he comes good, then great. If not, then we ship him back to Spain, hopefully with Kepa, if anybody wants him. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was just a case of good squad depth, and that's what he brought. And potentially he could have brought up his best form from his Atletico days of obviously.
But my thing does that. But 100% is low risk. What has he actually done?
Nothing. Nothing. And that's just the facts of it. And that's fine. Like for me, I was saying maybe I'll give him till December. We'll see how he goes. And so I'm not gonna maybe I'm not gonna judge like, oh, he's a flop now or he's good. I'm still gonna give him time and see maybe he can turn it good. But obviously how it looks.
Forward, bro.
I'm just keeping it consistent. I'm gonna give him till December and see. And whether maybe by then maybe
December's next month.
It's true, but
and what has he done from the months that he's? So do you really believe that somehow he's gonna not? The issue. Because we're going to get to the other guys. Because you have other guys coming through. Hudson-Odoi is playing well. RLC is playing well. What chances is he going to have? And the chances he's been given, you can just tell that, bro, it's what I said to you. He's not relevant in 2016.
No, you're right. And I'm not here to say that he's going to come good. I'm just saying that I may give him time and we'll see what happens. But I think what the signing done is it was certainly a kick up the arse for certain players in the squad to get their act together, because you got a big name coming in, whether he's performed or not. Saul is a pretty big name. Again, 2 years ago, he was touted at being moved for maybe between 70 to 80 million to a Man United. And obviously he's come in and he's not looked great, but like when you're RubenLoftusCheek and you see him come through the door, you're thinking, I've got to up my game here, because that's a guy who will get minutes. And I think Saul even got starts in the Premier League ahead of Ruben at the start of the season. So maybe he's not performed on the pitch and maybe he will never come good. And I'm fine with that because I have no real affinity to the player himself. But for what he's brought, maybe he's upped the game of the likes of RubenLoftusCheek. Kovacic has had a really good start to the season. So perhaps he's brought that.
So basically, you're not going to say that it was a pointless signing. Because see, that's where I'm going out.
It may turn out to be a pointless signing, but at the time when we signed him, it was fine because it's only 5 million.
Okay, so you're still holding out hope that he can still provide something for 5 mil?
He might do. I mean, if we have an injury crisis, obviously with Kante's injury record of recent, it may be a chance that we could need him.
No. For example, injury crisis. So now, Kante's out, RLC is out, Kovacic is out. You're now needed. Bro, that is a disaster. Because this dude has shown that there's nothing he's bringing into this team. So he has a luxury where, we can play. But if it's a course of you now have to play and you have to perform, Chelsea are screwed.
Now, see, that's a different question because now you're talking about his actual performance and what he brings. And from what we've seen, he's a lot more sluggish than I remembered watching him in the Champions League. And again, I didn't watch him that closely the last 2-3 years. I saw some compilations, but I mean, anybody can look at a whole compilation at the end of the day. And yeah, he just seems quite sluggish. He seems like he struggles with the intensity of the league, being able to like play quickly on the half turn. So things like that he struggles with. So let's say if that injury crisis was to come, I would obviously have some concerns. I'm also hoping that maybe as time goes on, he'll start to get a bit more used to the league and his teammates. But obviously we'll see. But obviously as for Saul as a signing, is he looking great? No, but do I care? Also no, because we've got so many great midfield options. Yeah. I'm past it at this point. If he comes good, he comes good. If he doesn't, ship him back to Spain.
All right. So there's so many ways to go, but I think let's just deal with it. Loftus-Cheek.
Oof. Let's go, my guy. I told you so. I told you so. You're going to hear that a lot today, but I told you so.
No, let's be real right now. Should Lampard be jailed? Should he be put into prison? San Quentin, Alcatraz, should be imprisoned.
All I say is if he gets that Newcastle job, he might end up in real trouble. He might end up in real trouble.
No, because I remember I was watching it. I think it was
Brighton at home. Oh no, Brighton away. First game of last season.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then he played him like right wing or right, and I was like, why? And the guy said to me, "Oh no, he wasn't ready. RC wasn't ready." No. If he was played in his strongest position and he played badly, cool. But why are you playing a guy completely out of position?
I know.
Because here's my thing. People say that. Because the Lampard apologists will want to say that everything that Lampard did was amazing. That's, Lampard knew he wasn't ready. So when he went out into loan for Fulham, he now improved. For me, I call BS there. I feel like this guy always had this. All he needed, same thing with Hudson-Odoi, give me a run of games. Yeah. Just give me 3 in my best position, because when you have a young player, play him in his best position. Always. A guy who's 26, 27, 28, you should be mature enough to play multiple positions as a 26, 27, 28-year-old. A 20, 21, 22-year-old, get them to fully max out in their strongest position, then start moving them all around. So my thing, though, is I 100% believe that Loftus-Cheek, if he had been played in the strongest position, same thing with Hudson-Odoi, run of games. So you're allowed to fail and improve. Fail, improve. He could have done something. And now you're looking at this guy where, bro, this guy might arguably be one of Chelsea's best players.
Yeah.
In terms of just football ability. And I remember one interview, because we're just talking about Rudiger and always like to play with the guys. And Rudiger said that, I think that's who's the strongest person in Chelsea, said that it's Loftus-Cheek.
Yep.
So that it is very hard to get the ball off of him. Like he may not look like it, but he's literally extremely strong. And my thing, though, is when you're just looking at him, it totally changes the entire dynamic of the team. Because what you have from midfielders is, okay, Jorginho, metronome, can keep the ball. I don't know how it does, but that's the thing. Kovacic, great with both feet, great balance, great 360-degree play. Kante, all-encompassing. But an attacking threat. A guy who can have food, breakfast, brunch in the final third is Loftus-Cheek. Yep. You see, Kante can't do final third, but he's not fully comfortable there. Kovacic, his just shooting is horrible. That's the issue. Jorginho, okay. So my thing is, bro, like as I say, this guy he's now become one of Chelsea's most important players right now. And you know how funny it is? Sometimes you don't need to leave home to find something. What you need is maybe right here, right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree. And again, when it comes to Lampard, maybe I'm one of his apologists, perhaps. And obviously, he done a lot good, in my opinion. We can up that debate maybe another time. In fact, we've had it many a time. But one of his big mistakes, obviously, was Ruben-Loftus-Cheek. Again, that game against Brighton, I will never forget how he obviously brought in Kai, started him as well, but then started Ruben out of position. And it just didn't make sense utilising him like that. And then did you only use him for that, you then subbed him off at 50 minutes. Then you instantly ship him on loan to the worst team in the league in Fulham. Like, you gave him no chance to really show himself. And then you stick him on the worst possible loan you could. So obviously, he was done dirty by the club. I wanted him to leave. I wanted him to actually go somewhere where he could show his quality on a weekly basis, not with the pressure of if you don't perform for 30 minutes of the game, you're going to get hooked off and then we won't see you for a month. That's what I didn't want for him. The same thing that happened to Hudson-Odoi for many years at Chelsea. But he stayed, he sticked it out. He obviously had a full season with Fulham where he wasn't great, but he got a full season in with no injuries. And I think that was the most important thing for him. And now, back at Chelsea, playing with players on his wavelength, players who can actually keep the ball and play proper football, because Fulham, they weren't playing any football, which is why they got relegated. This remontada is beautiful, bro. It's beautiful because I've told people for so many years that this guy is the truth. This guy is going to be the best product Chelsea's ever produced. Maybe since John Terry, but possibly ever, because I think he's that good. Talent-wise, he's that good. And yes, he's missed a lot of years because he is 25. So he's been around for a long time. He's not a young kid anymore. In terms of experience,
he's 25.
In terms of experience, he is pretty young because he's not had many games. I think he hasn't definitely not played up to 200 games at a professional level in the league. So he's a little bit behind players like maybe Dele Alli at a similar age. He's played a lot of football. But in terms of what he can do for the next 3, 4, 5 years, like the performances that he's putting in are incredible. And you touched on it with his skill set. He's strong on the ball. he's got that balance. He can go past players. I mean, you saw the skills that he was doing against those Malmo players. Yes,
Yeah.
it's only Malmo, but still Champions League, so.
No.
It's a good
Okay,
level.
honestly, people will say, "Oh, it's Malmo. It's easy." But who was the standout player? If it's only Malmo, there should be more standout players, and he was easy the most standout player. And here's the thing: those are the games that give you confidence. So of course, you won't do that against Bayern Munich or against PSG. But if you can get a run of games where, man, you were allowed to have some swagger within you, it gives you that psychological confidence to put you in the best position so that you can still put forth a strong game against a Bayern or a PSG. But the fact, even beyond the Malmo game, it's because for me, I'm a football guy. I appreciate all those, but I'm a guy where do you have those footballing fundamentals? So I look at ball control, I look at technique, I look at ability on the ball, how well you can carry the ball, and what's going to be one-on-one situations. And because my thing though is, in football and so forth, yeah, you can pass the ball around, but what you need is transitions. And an individual can take the ball and transition the ball by themselves. And this is what this guy can freaking do. So,
yeah, and it's key for a team like Chelsea when you're playing a lot of teams that sit in a low block or a mid block and they just look to contain you. And when you have Jorginho, who, again, is a great midfielder, metronome, will pass it around, is good. With Kante and Kovacic, they can dribble a bit, but that's not really their game to really take the game to players. Maybe they can dribble out of tight situations, but not they're going to pick up the ball and then go past the man. But with Ruben, we've seen it against Malmo. We've seen it also in plenty of other games where he's been one of our top two, if not our best player on the day this season.
Yeah.
He can go past players. He can make things happen. Even when he came off the bench against Norwich, that assist that he got for the Mason Mount hat-trick was a brilliant assist. He picked up the ball, played a 1-2 with Ziyech, took 3 players out of the game completely, and then he has the IQ and the mindset. He's composed in the final third where he can take his time and then pick the right choice. And for a lot of midfielders, they don't have that. Not able to actually slow the game down in the final third and then make the right decision. Ruben makes the right decision more often than not, and that's why I'm so happy to have him back in the team, because he's something that we don't really have elsewhere in the midfield.
Yeah, no, I mean, just because there's so many to round off. So I'll just round off Loftus before we go to guys. What is his ceiling? Because it's funny that you mentioned 25, because I thought it was 23. So 25,
yeah.
Because I always say, it's weird though. I was about to say that 26, 27, 28 is your peak. But look at what Modric is doing. Look at what Benzema is doing. Guys, look at what Lewandowski is doing.
Yeah.
And guys in their 30, 34 are still saying what's up. So my thing is, if he's given a run of games, can he reach his ceiling? And is it maybe too late? Did Chelsea leave it too late to really allow this guy to really flourish and so forth?
I don't think it's too late, because I would look at it and say he's a young 25. He's not got a lot of mileage on the clock. Yes, he's got injuries, but as long as he can stay fit, he's not played that many minutes. So I feel like he's still fresh to the game and he can still bring something for the next 5, potentially maybe 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Because obviously he does rely on his physical attributes, so he may not be he may not have the longevity of a Modric, let's say, but I think he can still give us maybe 7 or 8 years. And in terms of his ceiling, I mean, how many guys have we seen be able to move like he can in the Premier League and dominate games and be like such an offensive weapon? And then you're also defensively, you've got the physicality to get around the pitch, make tackles. Like, he can do it all. And I mean, what players have I seen that have been able to do that? Only someone like a Yaya Toure has been able to really do what he can do on a football pitch. I'm not going to say he's going to reach to the level of a Yaya Toure in terms of accomplishments.
Will Tuchel give him a run of games and protect him?
Well, he's getting a run of games now, and he's obviously performing. Now, the question is, you're also competing against Jorginho, who's on the Ballon d'Or list. N'Golo Kante, he's a generational midfielder. Don't make that face. Come on. Put respect on Jorginho's name. He deserves it. But you're competing against, obviously, Jorginho and Kante. Kovacic, who I think has been our best midfielder this season so far. So he's got tough competition. And that's why I'm just happy to see where it goes with here. But in terms of his performances, like, he's performing at a level where he can be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Like, he will be in that conversation. But at this time next year, 100%.